No questions. All right. So,
Sir, another small question.
so
Earlier, earlier in the session, we discussed about the academic research session.
yeah,
Are we to include
academic
the
research session. What did
academic
you mean by
research,
academic research session? Academic writing.
academic writing?
Yeah, right. I think Endeavor is someone else
Sure.
doing that one, no? Endeavor, if I'm not mistaken.
Miss Luanti done, sir.
She has already done it. Right. So,
Session
Just
one.
to clarify, sir,
Next
should
session.
we when we are making the this we did in the morning
okay.
session.
Right. So what's the question? No question. Okay. Good. So the academic writing is such an important thing because
When we are making the dissertation, should we prepare the dissertation in an academic way or no?
no. In either case, when you do a master's research, you have to follow the academic writing. So there's no choice in that. Academic writing is a must. Having said that, you have to remember, like last time I discussed, you are doing a business research. You are not doing an academic research. If you are an academic, probably your focus is totally different. Just to dig deep into the certain theories, practices, or maybe concepts. But you, instead of that, you would focus on a business problem that is existing and trying to find why it is happening. Or first of all, is it a problem? If it is a problem, what can we do about it? So that should be your focus. But in either case, academic writing is a must because the way that you write, the referencing, the criterias of your university, for example, if they say Harvard style that you will have to follow, those are must. Those are non-negotiables. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Excellent. So we'll start then. I'm happy that you have questions about the research and all. Yes, like last time I asked you all whether you have thought about the research topic, research area, etc. I purposefully asked that question so that you would start thinking about it. But stay focused on the today's session very well because this is going to be a crucial thing. All these questions that you asked, basically 3 questions that you asked, would have answers towards the end of this session. So we are talking about how do we really formulate your research context? And we intend to cover these areas. Identify the criteria for choosing a topic. So one of the questions that you all had. Be able to identify the attributes of good research. What good looks like in terms of the research topic. And be able to convert idea into research project. Now you might have an idea in your mind, but how do we really convert that into a researchable objectives and the questions or research topic? So identifying the importance of theory in writing research questions. And so this is one critical area. I don't know whether you discussed that during your academic writing session, but many students get confused in this area. But let's try to decode some of the questions we have and then understand the research aim and the rationale. So those are the areas that we are going to discuss during today's session. You all can always raise your hand and ask questions if you have. With that in mind, I thought these are some of the outcomes that we should be aiming towards today. Identify the key criteria for selecting a research topic. Evaluate whether the topic is feasible. Sometimes you might have a beautiful topic, but if it is not practical and if it is not possible for you to carry good research using that topic, it's really doesn't make sense. And translate a broad idea into focused research project with clear questions and the objectives. Now you might have a certain idea inside your head, but how do we really translate that into a researchable questions and the objectives? So those are some of the things that we are going to discuss today. Understand the role of theory in formulating research questions. Define a research aim and rationale in logical and academically. So these are some of the things. I'm not sure if I mentioned to you last week when we met physically. When you are doing a research, you have to, I'm again saying, you have to do lots of reading. I know in today's generation, and we are not good readers. We lack that skill of reading, unlike those days. When we were small kids, we were told to buy hard, we were told to read certain books, we were told to sort of, complete the chapters and come and discuss about it in the classroom, in the schools, ask questions. There were some memory tests, which unfortunately is not happening in the current scenarios. Therefore, you might want to go back and give an effort again. Make a liking about the reading itself. So my suggestion for you, not only the research topics, start reading about the newspapers instead of looking at the mobile phone or your laptop. Take a physical newspaper and try to read it. Read into the areas that you are interested of, at least in your research topic area. You will always find something interesting into that areas if you take a Sunday newspaper. And now, let's say, for example, you are talking about inflation. So try to read some of the research papers about the inflation in general, so that you will have an understanding about the research topic and whether whatever is in your mind, is it going to be a researchable topic? Because imagine, your degree is a very fast track one. So therefore, you need to spend some good time. I would say all the students should spend at least 3 hours in a day reading, summarizing, doing, browsing about your research. If you are serious about doing a justice to the degree, you can always outsource and get this done also. With today's scenario, you can use AI tools, but that's not what you want at a senior level. You want to really become an MBA, not just to get the certificate. That's what I think. Any questions or anything so far? Is it clear, the learning objectives and things like that? All right.
Small
So
question.
Yeah.
When we are, that means getting to select a research, first we should identify a problem, right, sir?
We'll look at it. I think we are going to talk about it today. So how do we really?
Okay,
So
sir.
your question is, how do we select a topic, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at it. Okay. So the first and foremost is what good looks like. When I say it has to be a good research, so what is it? What should it contain? Here are some of them. There can be quite a lot, but here are some of the things that I thought is very important in terms of what makes a good research topic. First and foremost, it has to be relevant to the field. Just imagine that if I know most of y'all are bankers. So it makes sense that you select a topic that is relevant to your banking industries, particularly into your area of expertise. For example, if you are a treasurer, and if your area of expertise is treasury management, perhaps you need to think about, okay, let me do something about it, because you already have whole gamut of tacit knowledge. Right? So you know what tacit knowledge is, no? Tacit knowledge has different types. So tacit knowledge tells us the knowledge that you gain over the years by doing it. That's why we say that most of the vocational education. Now, if you see, look at carpenters, masons in our society, a majority of them have not gone to probably universities or any technical courses. Maybe most of them do not have certificates also, but we confidently let them build our house. What does that mean? We trust on their tacit knowledge. We all do that. So they know how to mix the cement and the materials. They know how to do the structure. Probably they know what combination to do in terms of the steel, wood, and the other stuff. So that is tacit knowledge. So in terms of the relevance to the field, now that you have worked for so many years in your bank, and perhaps you are doing the same thing over the years, so maybe you are expert in certain areas. It could be treasury, it could be customer relations, it could be some other thing, analysis, it could be IT, human resources, it can be anything. So select and think about the relevance to what you are doing. And second thing, I think I mentioned this also briefly the other day. Now, selecting is one thing, but doing is a totally different game altogether. You can select a topic, but imagine if you do not have the resources for that. Resources as in data. Because in research, you need quite a lot of data. Whether it is qualitative or quantitative, you must have. So maybe in your workplace, you might have access to data. So it can be two ways. One, if it is a public quoted company, it's always okay to cite from their annual reports, publications, etc. If it is not a public quoted company, and if you are still wanting to do from about your organization, you might want to get their consent or the approval for that, so that you will not get into trouble with any litigations or any other problems. As I mentioned last time, the moment you complete your master's degree and you submit your thesis, when I approve that, or if I am your supervisor, if I approve it, it also becomes a sort of public document. Remember that. And you can't just like that mention stuff in a public document. What if somebody goes and challenges that about the legality of it, about the truthfulness of the data? So therefore, it's a very serious business. Remember that. So feasibility is one area that you need to think about. And another one is novelty versus practicality. So, many a times we all tend to become very novel, be creative, okay, I want to do artificial intelligence in digital banking. I mean, that's fine, but you need to understand, or you need to be aware of whether it is practical, right? And the fourth one is clear scope, not too broad, not too narrow. This is very important. Some people have a great idea in their head, but that idea itself is too broad, very difficult to research and, sometimes, and especially with the timeline that you are working on. It can be very challenging for you to gather data, go and imagine if you want to do a qualitative research about certain, across the country about a topic, and you might want to visit certain places, meet people, gather, maybe you need to carry out interviews, perhaps individuals, maybe group. And then once you have those data, then you need to choose the analysis software and then analyze them. So that's a tedious task. That's quite a lot of work. It's a full-time thing, by the way. And it might take years. So for my doctorate, it took almost 5.5 years. It was very stressful, quite a lot of commitment. And because you are balancing with your job, your family, and then of course now this is your master's. So it's very important that you select a scope which is appropriate for your study. It shouldn't be too broad, and also at the same time it should not be too narrow or too simple, because your research should not be simple so that it becomes very obvious. If your research topic is too obvious, there is no research question there, objective there. And if you already know the answers for them, right? So that is something that you need to understand. And ethical consideration is, of course, you may have learned during your academic writing session also. Whatever the data that you are citing and you are discussing in your research, you shouldn't harm anybody's anybody's sentiments or the business interest. That's why if you are citing somebody's quote, you'll have to have their acknowledgement. Or maybe if you're analyzing certain data sets, it's always, you must have the acknowledgement, unless it is a public quoted company. So public quoted companies, we are legally okay, we are safe because it's available to everybody. There's no restriction for that. And then, of course, as I said, researchability. Again, all these things are connected to one another. You'll have to see whether it can be investigated using academic methods. Right? So academic writing, you must have learned now. So think about some of the techniques that must have described and sort of taught to you. Is this topic, can it be investigated using academic methods? So these are the things that you need to look at. Is it clear? Is this clear? Are you all there?
That's clear, very clear.
Clear, sir.
One second, man. Now, I want each one of you all to think about your area, your topic, and the research interest in terms of these areas. As we speak, take a piece of paper and a piece of pen, pen and a piece of paper, and scribble about your own research area, topic, and what you intend to do. Right? Okay, now here, the further information about how to select a topic. So these are now the questions that you all had also. Some of this information I also just take from maybe some academic writings or internet, but these are when I feel that it is relevant and it is useful, I always tend to discuss and share with the students. So as we spoke, the relevance and the interest about the area and the topic. And think about the second point, durability. So what does durability means? Can somebody tell me? What do you understand when we say in terms of research, what is the durability? When we think about a product, of course, I understand, it's clear to us.
Is it the validity of the findings?
So perhaps the validity
How
will
long
help for
will it?
durability.
How long will the research discussions, that means the results, will hold
Yes,
their
because
relevance?
Not relevance, it's a different thing. Relevance is a difference in durability that is something that today you do analysis, you do a research, and then you have certain findings. Will it going to last, or is it just handy? Long-term impact in your research area and the topic. It's more likely a question and answer. So please remember, there's a contrasting difference between an answer question and doing a research. So you ask a question and find answers for that. There's no durability for that. So you have found the answer. So you can research or your sort of, the thought process. But in a research, it's not like that. It has a long lasting impact. In fact, if you do a research, towards the end of your research document, there's one thing that we always mention that is called future research areas. You have discussed, you have met people, you have done analysis, and then you have found something. But still, you feel like, oh, there is a future research of there is an option for us to further study. You're not 100% concluding anything. Therefore, you are suggesting maybe the future researchers can do that. That's what I say in the beginning also. Very important that you read some of the existing research papers. If you see, you will find them. Let's say, for example, if you are doing about the treasury management, and then as you read some of the research papers and maybe you come across a research paper that suggests certain research areas into the research treasury management. That's it. You take it from there. That can become a beautiful one that can add lots of value to your studies and also to the society and also to your academic work. Does that make sense? Is it clear?
Yes.
Breadth of research questions, I think we spoke about it. Topic adequacy, these are all easy and also understandable. Access to the data and stuff, yes. Micropolitics, risk, security, all these things may have discussed under your academic writing. And of course, resource availability, also, as I said, is very critical. Again, here is some checklist, a random checklist about a good research topic. Just go through it, take around 2-3 minutes and then go through it. Any questions on this? So some of the things here, is the research topic achievable within the available time? So how much time do you all have? You don't know? You can't be like that, my friends, because you're not a,
Excuse me,
you're not
sir.
a,
Uh,
yeah.
what was the question? I couldn't hear. My data connection was interrupted.
The question is that, so there is one thing mentioned here. Is the research topic achievable within the available time? So I asked you, what is the time that you have?
6 months.
6 months.
So when
Less
6
than
months
6
from
months.
when? From when?
From
Starting from the induction we had previously.
selecting the topic.
Okay, so from I mean beginning of January, so by June you have to complete. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So technically you have around 3 months for real studies. All these things now, I have got 5 sessions. It will take around how much time? Maybe 1.5 months, and then so likewise. So you really have to work hard. Take it very serious. And as we spoke of, let's go from the beginning. The is a feasibility, about the feasibility. Is a topic something which you are really fascinated? That is very important. Sometimes you get attracted by the popularity about the situation or a certain topic. But if it is not really your cup of tea, if you do not like that topic or the subject matter, do not choose that. You should really like it. If you are talking about inflation, you should really like to study about it. You should really have that sort of desire to know more, to analyze, to write about, to talk about. Then only you will do a proper job. And then do you have or can you develop within the project time frame? Likeness is one thing, but you should be able to do it within the given time frame, the necessary research skills to undertake the topic. As we discussed about the time frame, again, topic achievable within the available time. Because you might have a topic, I mean, you can achieve it maybe within 2 years, but all what you have got is 6 months. Therefore, it's important that you understand that fact and stay focused on it. Is a research topic achievable within the financial resources that are likely to be? I mean, this may not be relevant to you. Anyway, you will not spend collecting data, not spend money on collecting data and analysis and stuff, but there are certain research. They require quite a lot of money. That's why I mentioned the other day also, institutions like World Bank, IMF, when they want to fund countries like us, before they arrive at a decision, they spend quite a lot of money on research. That's how they take a decision. You remember? Last time we said one of the purpose of business research is to make an informed decision. So for them to arrive at a decision, they require a factual information. For that, they might hire a team of people. They might hire consultancy firms. Now, there was similar one Ernst & Young has spoken to me also something similar to that about ADB project. So they spend time because they want to know time and money. But in your case, I don't think that you will have to spend money on that per se. And secondly, on the appropriateness, is it worthwhile? Does the topic fit the specifications and meet the standards set by the examining institution? So look at that also very important. While all the other criteria are all right, but you also look at your university and also the next education institutions criteria whether you're meeting or not, because they are the one who's going to award you the degree at the end of the day. So therefore, please stay focused on that also. And does your research topic contain issues that have a clear link to theory? Well, maybe you do not have an understanding about it. That means, so one of the fundamental things you should do in your research is to select appropriate theory to describe whatever your phenomena, research phenomena. In a research, as I said, you don't just like that give your feelings or the explanation. It's about justification with the past, theoretical aspect, and also you choose one or maximum two theories, sometimes depending on the topic and the research area, that can help you to describe the phenomena. Let's say, for example, you talk about motivation. So you have Maslow's hierarchy of need theory, you have XY theory, you have Hawthorne experiment. So you select one of them or two of them, not to describe the theory itself, but to describe your own phenomena using that theory. Or Maslow had said this one. Therefore, maybe it is relevant to this one. Maybe it is working this way. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. And then, of course, you need to be able to state your research questions and the objectives clearly. And will your research be able to provide fresh insight into the topic? That is also very important. Now that you are doing a master's level research, so everybody would like to know, if I am your reviewer, I would like to know, okay, I understand what the theory says, and probably I also understand what the context is, but what is your opinion? What are you adding? What is your value creation to the entire problem solving? So that comes through your tacit knowledge and also the depth and the breadth of studies that you would be doing in this number of weeks. That will reflect your own thought process. Even if you use AI tool, this is where most of the students will get caught. And don't be shy if your language is not perfect. It's okay. For me, it's always important your perspective but you have to, of course, follow your academic writing rules and regulations or the compliance requirements. And also, does your research topic relate clearly to idea you have been given, perhaps by organization, if it is given by an organization? Because sometimes in certain institutions, academic institutions also, they give topics or the research areas for students to choose. They give sometimes, okay, these are the 3 areas for research. You can select one of them and do your research. But of course, in your case, I guess it's you who would choose, therefore it won't be a problem. Are the findings for this research topic likely to be systematical, that is similar value, whatever the outcome? Symmetrical, sorry. Does the research topic match your career goal? That is also one thing. I don't know it is much relevant to you, but there is also one thing certain business studies researchers always look at. Now, for example, if your organization is going through certain problems or crises at the current point in time, perhaps you do a research, you discuss with your organization, management, CEO, and then say, I would like to do this study, and they will also love it. They will support you. And then maybe if you do a great job there, they might recognize you towards the end of the research based on the findings and the impact that you make to solve the problem. Is that clear? Any questions? All right, so let's move on. If you don't have any questions. Okay, let's do this. Think about a current business issue you're passionate about. Think about your own business issue that you had in your mind. And then try and write down the topic. Shall we take around 5 minutes and do this exercise? Shall we do that?
Excuse me, sir. Small question.
Go ahead.
Current business issue means like that means we are a problem we are facing in the current career, or something like we are like to start a business or something like that, sir.
No, think about, you are a researcher and then you want to do a research on certain area. So for you to do a research, there has to be a research context that is a business issue. What is that issue that you would like to do a research on? And then come out with a topic. Did you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, let's take 5 minutes and then we'll come back and discuss. Okay. Shall we listen to some? Who is ready?
Shall I introduce my
Yeah,
topic?
go ahead, Talinga. Go ahead.
Something I'm passionate about is financial derivatives and derivative market.
Okay.
So
What
my
is derivative
topic I
market
thought
means?
derivative market means that means use of financial derivatives like options, swaps, those stuff. So my topic is impact of financial derivatives to small scale import and export businesses.
I see. So what are some of the variables you are thinking about? What will it depend on?
I think my independent variable would be financial impacts of financial instruments, that means derivatives, and dependent variable would be the P&L and profits of short, small scale import and export companies.
Right. Good, Kalinga. Thank you for that. I mean, topic itself, I am not going to conclude anything, but good attempt. Anyone else wants to go next? Chamika, have you thought about it? Chamika, are you there? Chamika Basing? Okay, Nalin Pereira?
Yes, sir. I am into investment banking operations. So
Right.
actually, we have a few regulator license in
Okay.
at my organization. So actually, day to day, we have few business problems. So I have
Right.
identified one is competition. I mean, intense competition.
Right.
And the other major one is regulatory and compliance.
Okay.
Okay. And the most important is talent management issues. So those are the major things I have identified at the moment.
Right. So what kind of topic are you thinking about?
I thought actually let me to like how to faster, how to overcome these issues, like to have, give propose the management how to overcome these issues, right? So, yeah, likewise.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Nilanta? Nilanta Priyadarshana? Chanaka?
Sir, good morning. Yeah, sir, I'm working in actually outstation branch in commercial bank. So
Right.
there I saw that how digitalization affect to the people, and
Okay.
so
Interesting. Good one.
how they find in difficulties while using the app, as well as how to expose for the frauds.
Okay.
So
Right.
so that
So
is my
that's
topic, and I'm trying
no.
to
What's the topic again? Read it as a topic.
how digitalization affect to the people in generation wise, and how to
No, people, that's not, Chanaka. I know these are early days for you, but very
yes,
careful when you're talking about, it's not people, it's your customer base, isn't it?
customer base, yes,
And it is also, you have to say your bank, whatever the bank, commercial bank,
commission,
that also use it outstation, rural area. So there are a few things here. I'll take this as a classic example, Shanaka, in the interest of learning. I'll also take this to teach others. Think about that topic. Now, Shanak has a genuine problem, which is very nice actually. And I also support 100% for that research area. But think about it. Now, he's talking about the digital illiteracy. So one of the first thing that you should do to describe what is digital illiteracy. It's not something that you feel. It shouldn't be something that you feel. It should be something that you should say, okay, this is what digitalization means, and then digital literacy means this is what it is. You'll have to give an example. You have to cite from previous research. And then you have to show that there's a genuine problem with the analysis. How do you show that? Maybe quantitative or qualitative. You do some interviews and you say, so and so I have done 25 interviews for employees, and these are the findings. They said they are not familiar about it, or maybe some people do not like it, or maybe certain people in the discussion you will find, and they do not have the required electronic gadgets.
Yes.
Right? So those are genuine problems. So, but that has to be verified through an interview. And then you can't say Sri Lanka. Now you yourself said it's a rural area. So what is rural area? Again, you'll have to define. What do you mean by rural? Maybe there's a definition for rural area. And that also you narrow it down to rural area in the Western province or Southern province or maybe Northern province. Maybe rural area in Jaffna is well conversant with digital banking. I don't know. Maybe. That you have to do a research and find out. You understand, Shanaka?
Yes, sir. So
it's a very interesting one. So I think as we go on, we can improve on the topics and stuff, but that's how you look at an issue.
Yeah, please, sir. Sir, so rural areas, while you elaborated that rural areas in the sense now, actually that my branches belong to the Sabaragamu area. So while we are doing that dissertation, do I have to mention about the stats about the other regions also?
You will have to have a comparison, no?
Comparison, yes.
Not necessarily that you talk about others, but we have to justify, because to me, I'm a layman in terms of your topic. So you said you are Sabaragamu. Sabaragamu, Ratnapura district is also in Sabaragamu, right?
Yes, definitely.
Which is a very wealthy district. They have gems.
Yeah.
So you cannot say they are sort of, I don't know what rural means. So that you have to describe. Does rural mean poor?
It's almost outstations from the
Outstation. So that's what.
Yeah.
So you try and find the right words for that.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So that's how you do that. Anyway, as you go on, you can spend the time with the interest of limited time we have today. Let's move on. Alu Pereira, or who's that? AP. Janita Beratna?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, morning. Go ahead.
Good morning, sir. I thought of doing research on illegal transactions done through banking channels or challenges of monitoring customer accounts when monitoring customer accounts. That is a topic that I want to clarify. So when doing it, the sources.
What's the issue? We are discussing about the issue here. What is the issue? Business issue that you try to do a research on?
Challenges in monitoring customer accounts in commercial bank.
Yeah. Is there a challenge, first of all?
Yes, because there are through the accounts, there are good transactions.
Anyways, I think it's more than the. It's not a proper research area. Think about it again, because maybe I do not understand whatever is in your head, but to me it sounds. As I said, no, it shouldn't be a problem, question and answer. It should be a proper research area. Anyway, it's okay. Thank you for that. This is our initial time. Janita Beratna?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, sir. So I have two ideas actually. One is that so I'm working in AMW Capital Leasing. It's a very small finance company.
How do you say so?
Yeah, it's like we have a portfolio about 10 billion below. So comparing
Uh-huh.
to other financial giants, they have more portfolio size.
Right,
So,
right,
and we have a small branch network of 21 branches only.
right.
So my first selection was like, during this period, we have given the all the branch managers the DOA. So they were conducting business individually. So uh, likewise, like we are having a centralized credit approval authority in our company. So the first one that I like to work on it, like the impact on the DOA given to the branches and the impact on the NPLs and the portfolio quality, credit quality, etc. If it's okay.
But these are a number of things you are talking about. You need to narrow it down to one area.
Yeah. The second one is actually, sir, so we are planning to develop a concept called branchless finance solutions. Like we have only 21
Interesting one.
branches. Yeah. So we are planning to do a project, actual project, to increase the numbers of to cover up all the areas in the Sri Lankan market without a physical branch.
Good. I remember last time also I spoke about one of my examples in United Arab Emirates. We had a very popular bank. I mean, it's still there, Mashrak Bank. About 10 years back, they wanted to go zero branch. And but I know there are a few branches. They have improved quite a lot. But so yeah, that is something very interesting to do also. Thank you for that. And I'm sure you will have a good research area. In Dibari, I find there are quite a lot of students today. There are 19 altogether now. Looks like these are all new ones.
Yeah, sir. Ratipan and Dilhara will join. We have some link issue now sorted.
Right. Probably they want to look at those who joined today. They want to look at the recordings of past sessions and the PPTs. Otherwise, you will miss some of the important aspects of it. All right, Kalinga, just quickly, in the interest of time.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Right. Morning.
I'm also coming from a banking background.
Right.
Looking after the two aspects of the business, that is card offers and promotion. I'm heading the card center one section.
Right.
The other section is about merchant acquiring.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about an area where I can improve merchant registration. Basically, looking at kind of a process of, say, digital KYC.
Now, what's the problem? What is the business problem that you see there?
So the problem is still at the merchant level. When you are registering merchants for acquiring solutions, it's still largely a documentary process where we look at manual intervention. So I'm trying to think of an area where we can introduce a digital KYC framework for a specific focus on merchant acquiring.
Okay. Is it not available currently?
It is available, but only thing is there are factors that we need to improve, but it is not 100% on digitally. So we're trying to look at a way of speeding up the registration of merchants, just to have a kind of a risk-based merchant acquiring solution.
Honestly speaking, Kalinga, it doesn't sound like a research topic, but it's okay. I think you will eventually get there.
Right.
Keep on thinking about it. Read some research topics relevant to that area. Okay, research topic, research papers.
Right.
I said last time also, you have to go to Google Scholars. For the interest of new joiners, let me show you again.
Okay.
So you don't Google topic. Instead of that, you go to Google Scholars. You see this?
Yeah.
Google Scholars. That is where you try to find academic articles. Right now, for example, if I go to my profile in the Google Scholars, it will show me all the research interest and my index and all that is there. Right. So similarly, you need to go here and then let's say, what is your area, Kalinga?
Sorry, sir.
What is your problem area?
Merchant acquiring, digital KYC on merchant acquiring.
Okay, digital acquiring, you said.
Yeah, digital KYC framework for merchant acquiring, something.
Digital KYC framework process. Okay, there's something called process. So these are all the researchers, you see, about 33,500 researchers done in that area. Now, you'll have to be a bit careful here. You will get all kinds of stuff here. You need to select a high index one. You don't go for all the junks one also. Now, if you look at some of the, I mean, this one has citations, get 209 KYC optimizing using distribute ladder technology. So it is in the Springer nature. So there are certain ones you will have to pay and read. Maybe because you have got your institutional access, you will have access to some of those sites also. Otherwise, you'll have to pay money to access research papers. But I have seen Indivari had already shared, I think, HBR and some other good connections. So you make use of them. So that's where you read about it. And then you will understand whether your topic is researchable, what has been taken place across the globe, and what other researchers are doing, and is there a real research problem in my topic, etc. Okay, Kalinga?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the input.
Right, right. Okay, right. We have a Tanuja. Hi, Tanuja.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Tanuja, yes, Tanuja.
This is my
Good
first
morning.
class. I choose one heading that's workload. I'm working as an audit associate in Ernst & Young, so working as an audit field. So I choose a heading that workload pressure and its impact on audit quality. So usually, most of the audit.
Good one. Good
like,
one.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So,
Right.
I choose as content variable for say workload and the factors, long working hours, tight deadlines, like that. And for the how it's affect on the work audit quality. So audit quality is an important thing in audit. So we can assess that the compliance with audit standards, adequacy of audit evidence, and professional skepticism and proper documentation. We can check it, the quality based on that. So based on that, we can find the questions. What are the main sources of workload pressure faced by auditor, and does this workload pressure affect audit quality? Like that. So.
Tanuja, good topic, good area, but be careful to narrow it down. It's a very general thing that you're talking about right now, right?
Yeah.
Are you targeting a certain generation, or are you targeting senior auditors, or are you targeting junior auditors? Are you targeting a particular audit firm, or are you targeting any industry audits? You got what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, you will write a newspaper article instead of a research paper.
It's like a population
Yeah.
study.
Yeah. So you'll have to be very careful, very focused in your research.
Okay.
Good. So in the interest of time, let's move on, and thank you for everyone those who contribute. See, one of the best way to learn is to discuss and contribute. All right, so let's move on. We have got around 25 more minutes. What are some of the attributes of good research topic? Now that I think we by now you all should have a good understanding about it. So here are some of them. The clarity. It should be easy to understand and communicate. When I was doing my research, I was going back and forth for about 1.5 years. My supervisor and myself had so much misunderstanding. Back and forth going, sometimes it's not matching with the academic writing, sometimes it's not clear, and he doesn't understand my theory, I don't understand his theory. He gave me a typical European marketing theory to use on a skill development, which is the first time in the world, but I have to do that. So one day he asked me a very interesting question. He said, Roshan, why don't you go and give this document to your wife and ask her to read and ask if she understands it. So that that opened up my mind. So you need to strike a balance, even if you are following the academic writing also. So the reader should understand what you are trying to say. Maybe the reader is not exactly a subject matter expert like you. Probably you understand what you're trying to say very well, but think about it from the reader's point of view also. And then focused, targets specific issue and problem. The clarity we spoke about here also. It's very important that we have clarity in our mind and also what we are talking about. Don't try to solve world problem here. You're trying to get through a master's degree within 6 months doing a research. So stay focused. After that, probably you can leisurely do climate change problem, all kinds of stuff. And then the contextual link to the business issue, theory or practice. I think I'm happy. One of the things that you all are trying to do is to link to your current organization or maybe maybe the anticipated problem in your work area, which is a nice thing. And then of course ethical consideration, avoid harm and to participants of biasness. We all have this biasness when we do a research. However much we try to say that we are independent, impartial, we try to follow the compliance requirement. We all have our own emotions. Therefore, there is always a likeness and dislikeness, and more dangerously, I should say, we conclude certain things even before we study. Think about those who spoke already. Perhaps in your mind you know the answer. Perhaps in your mind you would like to believe this is the outcome. But in an ideal scenario, researchers really do not know until the last minute. That's the beauty of a research. That's what I said. Some of the research papers, finally they would say, okay, so I have done so much research and so much work, but however, here are the areas that we still require further studies and confirmation. I cannot really confirm through this study. That is called future research areas. If you read some of the good research articles, you will find them. And then, of course, it has to be manageable, completed with a time frame. There's an example given, a good one. The impact of remote work on employee engagement in IT startups in Sri Lanka. Clear, it's not that complicated, but we really do not know what is the impact. Sounds like a research area, right? But at the same time, depending on the vocabulary, depending on the research context that you use, it can also be weak research topic. Okay, again, research questions. Now, this is what we were trying to understand earlier also. How do you really derive your research questions? Research questions would derive from so many exercises. It takes time and real effort. So, this was there in your earlier presentations also. I choose to retain it, this sticker. So if you have seen in your childhood Alice in the Wonderland, and if you have read that book, perhaps maybe you can remember this conversation. So Alice said, would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? So the cat says, that depends a good deal where you want to get to. And then Alice replies saying, I don't really much care about it. Where? Then Cat responds saying, then it doesn't really matter which way you go. So that teaches us, unless otherwise you have the focus and your aim, it doesn't really matter. It's all over. So similarly, in a research also, research questions should guide your literature research. In fact, you should do a literature review first before you are in even finalizing your objectives and questions. But I don't know whether, given the short time frame, you will be able to do that. And also the depth of your masters. In Divari, this is level 7 or 8? Hello, in Divari, are you there? Do you all know if this is, what level is this?
Level 10.
Level?
SLTF level 10, I suppose.
Yes, it is level 10, I think.
Try and find it out. And level 10 means that you need to do a proper literature review and good research. It has to match the standard of the universities. A research question also should help and guide your research data collection and the analysis process. Because from the answers that you collect the data, eventually you need to analyze them. So unless your research questions are framed in a manner that it helps you to analysis process, you will face trouble in between. So now I think you should have a kind of an understanding and awareness in your mind in terms of how do you really convert your idea into research questions and objectives. So here are some of the steps or strategies. Don't directly jump into the research questions and the objectives. Start with a general interest. Keep on writing. Keep on writing, and it's okay to change. I always tell students, don't fear that, to change your topic, research area, objectives, it's okay. We need to change actually. A good research would always change over the time. Narrow it to specific issues, as I always tell students, and define the aims. Aims as in that, what do you really want to explore, achieve, accomplish? Based on that, you draft your research questions and objectives. Research objectives essentially would describe how will you achieve your topic. And the questions, essentially, what do you want to find out? So here are some of the examples. I wanted to show you some of the examples. Here are some of them. Employee motivation. One of you also mentioned lack of motivation in remote teams. Research aim is to explore the factors affecting motivation among remote workers in banking. Research question, what factors influence motivation among remote employees in Sri Lanka? The objective is to find key motivational factors to assess the role of communication, to explore employee perception of remote work benefits, etc. Again, a little bit more into research. How do you really convert your idea into research questions? Here are some of the examples. Advertising and share prices. How does the running of TV advertisement campaign designed to boost image of a company affect its share prices? Sometimes big organizations do research and quick researches and find out before, for example, issuing shares. Even people like Mr. Damika Pereira has got his own research arm. There are a number of people, youngsters, who are collecting data, giving him inputs to help him making decisions, investment decisions, maybe trade decisions, maybe to close down also you require proper information so that you are comfortable of closing down a business rather than operating it. So here are some of the other examples given, but I would like you all to watch this video. Let's watch, I think it's about 4 minutes.
Seems like that should be the simplest part of your research, and honestly, it's not. Getting the question to be a real inquiry is something that people struggle with. So I'm going to try to help you create your question. By now, you should have your topic pretty set. You should know what you're looking at. Let's say you are going to focus on math journals. This is what you're going to look at throughout the year. And so you're trying to figure out, okay, what's my question going to be? And the first attempt at your question, you write, will my students become better communicators if I introduce math journals? Seems like a good enough question. The problem with it is that it's a yes-no question. And you really want to stay away from yes-no questions when you're doing teacher research because yeah or no. There's nothing really to research. So you want it to be a true inquiry. So the second attempt at your question, you write, how will introducing math journals to my students enhance the level of communication in my classroom? And the problem with this question is that you really don't know what's going to happen. And so if you put in there that it's going to enhance the level of communication, you already know what you're looking for. And in a true teacher research, again, you don't know what's going to happen. You want it to be a true inquiry. So you want to keep out anything that you really think you're looking for in there. If you're going to look for communication, then you're going to have to change your question, change your inquiry. You want this to be as open-ended as possible, okay? The third attempt. How will introducing math journals to my students affect the level of their understanding of math in my classroom so that they are better able to communicate thinking strategies with their peers in large and small groups? Okay, this is a real common problem with people starting this work. That question is way too wordy. It's way too long. Unlike the last question that was leading, right? It was leading us to look at enhancement of communication. This one is just so long and so wordy. Cut it down. Keep it concise, to the point. That's all we want to know. The fourth attempt, okay, and this is the final attempt to your question, is what happens when I introduce math journals to my students? That's it. It's very open-ended, straight to the point. You don't have any idea what's going to happen. It's a true inquiry. And that's what a teacher research question should be about.
Please bear in mind that that's just a one type of research question only, yeah? But I thought it's clear and concise, so I thought to share it with you all. Okay, I want to spend a few minutes on the importance of theory in research. So, all the people ask me, okay, do we really need a theory? But the answer is yes. We need to have. If you do not use a theory, how do you really relate, describe, analyze, make a point in terms of your arguments? So is there academic research and literature? No, as much as we would like. I mean, depending on the two questions, there's this given. What are people active on FB at night? Probably it is interesting. Is there academic research and literature? Not much. I mean, there's not academic literature in this one. Therefore, maybe it's not suitable. And what organization, the other one is, what is the impact of organization sustainability on employer branding? Can be interesting. Yes, because you can always find literature and, because there are fundamental things here talking about organizational sustainability and employer branding. So therefore, you can research on them. There are plenty of research theories available in that. So finding research is theory is very important, but I don't want to bog your mind with talking about the theory. There are multiple theories available. Once you define your topic and the research area, and if you also can define the objectives and the questions, then we have a pretty good understanding about, okay, what kind of topic are we talking about? Is it about motivation? Is it about business development? Is it about marketing? Is it about policy making? Once you have that clarity, just a matter of finding a suitable theory to describe it. So in a typical research project, you have, how many words? How many words is your document, by the way? Have you all thought about? If not, please read through and understand. But in an ideal international standard, introduction would have about 1,000 words. Literature review would take around 3,000 words, and methodology 2,000. So this is all 4,000, 6,000, 9,000, 10,000 words. This is the international standard, but I don't think that your research would require 10,000 words. Look at it, and maybe it is far less than this. So talking about the theories, first, one of the best ways to understand what is not theory. Many people tend to get confused between these things. Theory is not industry articles. Sometimes you find articles in newspapers, magazines, publications, etc. They're not theories. And also data are not theory, by the way. Just because you have a data set and then somebody described it or interpreted it doesn't make any theoretical sense. In fact, theory would explain why these patterns are observed. Sometimes theory is more deep. Theory is something that you have practiced and proven. Unless otherwise somebody disprove, it remains the authority. If you are saying there is a direct relationship between the digital banking and the rural bank performance, and you introduce a certain theory, so unless otherwise somebody comes and do a theory research and disprove it, it remains the authority. Maslow says there are 7 hierarchies in the human behavior, and he studied the psychology, and he says there are 7 layers every individual would follow, not necessarily linear follow. So still people tend to believe that we require basic needs before we really look at some other needs. So we'll have to sort of, research it and disprove it. Until that time, it remains the authority. And theory is also not list of variables. Just because you have got number of variables in terms of a concept doesn't make a theory. And diagrams and all that is hypothesis, prediction. These are not theories. But theory is groundbreaking theory that will lead to whole new way of thinking about the management. It's a new philosophy altogether. You see this in a pyramid. There are 3 types of theories described, and probably you can have a look at these slides leisurely. And in fact, a theory would increase the capacity to change the way that we think about the world. When I say world, it's about your own topic or the area of interest. Theory is restricted to particular time, research settings, group, etc. Example, any planning concept of theory that describes the idea of design principles of a particular projects. So that is, theory always would have its own framework. And theory is also middle range theories which lack the capacity to change, way we think about which are still quite significant. Now, you might see this pyramid, there are three types of theories. We say. Substantive theories, middle range theories, and grand theory. Grand theories also can be grounded. Grounded means, you do qualitative ones and it's very, very much experimented. The middle range theories examples are theory of planned behavior, which explores how attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived control influence the intentions and the behaviors. Now think about the customer behavior if you are talking about. And you study about this particular theory and then say, under this theory, so and so had said human behavior is like this. And then your finding, and you try to compare and give your opinion, personal opinion. That's how you write your research topic. So where can we find theories? Industry journals, yes. Online, don't go and try to Google theories. Textbooks, no. Newspapers, no. As I said, academic journals and conference papers. Those are in fact, these are the three areas that you will find theories. Journals, it's all about academic writings. Some of the questions or the notes, few notes about the research questions. Just read through them. I think we have spoken about, but this is to prompt your mind to think about your own idea. I mean, strategy questions, figure it out. How do I climb Mount Everest? I mean, video also explained us to frame research question very well. So these type of questions are not suitable. And leading question is a different type of question altogether. That question would lead to another question. In our conversations also that happens now. I'm not saying these are the best for research, but that's also a different type of research questions. Wording, I think in your academic writings, you may have learned about these things. So therefore, I will skip this slide. It's all about your academic writing skills. Please follow the standards in your university and also the next education institution in terms of your academic writing. It's very important. Having a good context is one thing, but also you should follow your compliance requirements to explain that. Another thing, research aim, and not necessarily all the researchers would have research aim, but it's good to have research aim. What is the overall purpose of this research? You should answer that. You should ideally have a small chapter about half a page describing your research aims. What are the expected findings? What do you expect? As we discussed earlier also, we really do not know until the last minute of a research findings. Therefore, what do you expect, anticipate? And who is the intended audience? And what can they benefit, or how can they benefit of? Think about the bigger purpose always, so that your answers would be more grounded. I wanted to do this exercise, but let's skip in the interest of time. Research objectives. I think next week we'll find, before we start, we'll try to go through these two slides and we'll start. Right? Yeah. I mean, if you are interested, just go through these. You will have these slides with you. So go through these articles.